So, if you guys have been keeping up with ChaCha and that whole drama on Twitter, to bring you guys up to speed for anyone who's not doesn't know about this, basically ChaCha made a joke about ICE deporting Fillion, and a lot of people on Twitter, mostly it's the leftists and the politically leaning left, that they took exception to that joke. And, they called her everything from immoral, evil to disgusting, and what else was it? Race. I don't think they said racist, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But they levied just about every insult they could at her, trying to basically cancel her because she made a joke. That, she was basically, ICE broke down Fillion's door and they took Fillion back to the Philippines. I'm working with ICE and trying to get Fillion back. And she just made a joke, and I'll link that clip in the video if you haven't seen it. But it seems like ChaCha, pretty recently, put another video on her stream, basically addressing basically addressing her cancellation on Twitter and the whole thing. Here, I'll show you that clip right now, and you can see for yourself.
Talked about your Twitter cancellation? Okay. I knew I had to talk about it at some point. I guess we'll talk about it a little bit. Just a little bit. Emerald, my mods are like, what are you doing, ChaCha? What are you doing? Ignore the haters. Okay. First and foremost, I'm not making an apology to Twitter. That's why you're here, and you're wondering, why has ChaCha not made a statement on Twitter? Why do I need to make a statement? For what? Alana showed no one is actually mad. None of your viewers, just the Twitter freaks. Nobody that is mad on Twitter watches my streams. If you watched my streams, you'd understand my humor. The elephant in the room meme that's going around, address the elephant in the room. Nah, I've got things to do, man.
So as you can see, ChaCha obviously doesn't care anything about the opinions of these political leftists or these political activists or whatever you want to call them. VTubers who are politically left. I'm going to show you some quotes, some comments that they've made. This is a while. These were a little older comments. If you want more recent comments, you can go to, I'll link the video of Rev Says Desu's video. He gives you kind of the more recent discussion within the last day or two about this situation on X, with some of the leftists, of course, blocking their replies again and basically engaging in a debate, accusation. I don't know what you want to call it. They've been basically yapping on X. So his video is a good breakdown of the situation as it currently stands. I'll link it in the description, so go check it out. But I'll read you guys some comments here from ChaCha's main post. F ICE and F anyone that jokes about it, period. She is not happy. I genuinely am at a loss for words. I wasn't a huge fan of ChaCha, but no one should joke about it. ChaCha, part of an affected group. ChaCha makes a joke out of it to cope. Liberal white women, you can't joke about this, you're affected. It was always the white women who is the most bigoted and dangerous of them all. 1984. The next one is, you're a piece of shit. I wonder if you would joke about Nazis abducting Jewish people in the 30s. Okay. ICE is killing people in my streets, and you think it's funny to crack a joke about it. You're running people off the road. They're running people off the road, attacking families, just trying to leave their homes and gassing schools, and you think it's effing funny to joke about it. No indie VTuber, you should not make a joke about Fillion, of all people, getting picked up by ICE. The only time I want to hear any indie talk about ICE is when they are actually discussing the horrific state of it, not funny hee-hee ha-has. We all understand the only morality y'all pay attention to is to money and clout. Don't piss me off. But don't piss me off. The amount of drama that I have to relive as ICE brutality spikes again has been mentally draining for me, or mentally terrible for me. It's just so effing offensive when VTubing, something I love, is used to dehumanize us through shitty, edgy jokes. People have died. Where is the humanity for immigrants and those who have defended them? I don't like talking about politics or big VTubers, but two close family friends were taken by ICE. Many in my area have been hurt by them. As a first-gen Mexican and legally here, I'm still afraid since they don't seem to care about status. This is in poor taste and disappointing. Okay. This one's a long one. Ooh. Oh, let me get. Okay. I wanted to make a public tweet about this because I am quite literally dealing with this shit as ICE has been in my state the last few weeks. They've been murdering innocent people. If you for any effing reason support ICE or think this is a joke, this joke is harmless, unfollow me. You're a part of the problem. And if you continue to stand to the side while innocent human beings are being attacked, murdered, deported, and more than making jokes about it, you're heartless. The people under my response to telling me I'm blowing this out of proportion and people haven't been murdered by ICE, look up Renee Good. If you don't already know who she has been recently murdered by an ICE agent in my state. The fact that people responding tell me I'm trying to force my opinion on others when I'm seeing the damage they're actively doing every single day to the people in my state and around me, get the F out of here. I don't follow these big VTubers and don't know much about ChaCha, but this is such a dumbass joke, especially that I hope no one clips this because you know how this would be received. The next one is her basically reiterating the same thing and insulting people. You can read it for yourself here. The next one after that is keep screaming into the void, incels. I couldn't care less about your agendas. Anyway, back to regularly scheduled content. Hey, so I locked replies because I don't feel like giving my time and energy to Twitter incels and racists. Google is free, and you're more than welcome to use it to see the harm ICE has done. They've murdered people and continue to say it's in self-defense. Again, I don't truly want to hear shit from chronically online Twitter users when I live here and have been dealing with this shit on a daily basis. Unless you're here, then don't tell me how to react and to touch grass. Thanks. Making jokes about ICE while people in America are actively being harmed because it's incredibly tasteless. Families are being separated and people are being killed in broad daylight. Being a self-proclaimed mama VTuber and having the humor of an immature 10-year-old is very ironic. Making jokes about ICE is all because it doesn't personally affect you or your family is so tone deaf, especially when an ICE officer would look at you and profile you immediately without question. People are being murdered, tortured, abused, taken to camps, families are being ripped apart and killed all because a white man in power can't see past melanin. You're kidding me, right? Kash Patel is darker than me. Of course he can see past melanin. People with platforms should be using their voice to support those in need, not feed into the narrative we are trying hard to abolish. Shame on those who make those jokes, especially those of Latin culture. F ICE. In what world is this funny? I'm legitimately sick to my stomach. The F is wrong with you, dude. That's ChaCha's a girl, not a dude. You have to correct that one. 150k followers, and instead of using your voice for good, you say dumb, tasteless shit like this. Yikes. Yeah, this ain't it, ChaCha. People are actively being harassed and arrested and even killed by ICE. Horrible joke. Oh dear, you can't be serious. With everything going on in the world right now, you don't really think this was in good taste for posting? Shame on you. This is actually disgusting. Like, why would you think this is an okay joke to make? What went through your mind? This makes me really effing sad. Anything to stay relevant, huh? So obviously those people are political leftists, you know, they think anyone who disagrees with them is like the most morally reprehensible person you could become. They think of them as evil, and they think of ICE as like demons, and they think of Trump as like the devil, and you know, they're really wild about it. They're really big woke snowflakes. They get ruffled by just about anything that just doesn't politically align with them. You know, they put up these purity tests to essentially make sure that everyone's loyal and following and toting the line of political correctness and woke ideology. It's so tiring. It's goofy. It's sickening. Now, there's nothing wrong with what ChaCha made jokes ChaCha made, you know. I've made jokes about, you know, immigration in the past with my friends. I've made so many jokes about so many different things when I was in high school with my friends that you would that you would be flabbergasted. I think that's just about the average high school experience, and it's the best experience. It's really fun. Now, no matter I don't want to get involved too much in politics here, but I will say this. This is why Democrats lose elections, is because of this stuff. They try to set up an ideology of where they shove the ideology down people's throats, whether they want it or not, and then they wreck everything when they get in power, and then they make everything difficult, and then they are trying to always kind of like have this sense of like rules where you can't do this or do that or else you're going to get censored. You dare to make a joke that's considered inoffensive, you would be like serving prison time if they could make it happen, You made misandry quotes. You made transphobic quote. You made transphobic comments. You made a evil tweet. You did all these bad things. You made evil memes. You'd deserve 20 years in prison in the mines for your tweet. It's stuff like this, which is just insane. ChaCha just made a joke. There's nothing wrong with ChaCha making the joke about her friend. These people who are leftists, who are up in arms about this, really need to step back and think, what am I doing here? They really need to observe their life and think that maybe they shouldn't be acting, like a virtue signaler over every little thing, Maybe actually, thinking about things and stop playing this emotional manipulation game, trying to get people to feel sorry for you because something happened. Oh, ICE did this. I'm so saddened, and they're so evil, and they do such bad things, and accuse ICE of like gassing schools and meeting, and they're like the way they describe ICE is like it's like the Red Army it's like the Red Guards had come through, and cleared out an entire town in the 1940s, Soviet Russia, the way they describe things. And that's not the case. ICE is not like that. I mean, they really need to stop bringing politics into everything. ChaCha made a joke about ICE immigration deporting Filian. ChaCha is a VTuber. All these other people are also VTubers too, but they need to stop bringing their politics into this. It helps nobody. Trying to force their politics and shame other people, or trying to cancel them and say that and insult them and say, oh, you're such a bad person, and trying to like do this kind of emotional manipulation is such a pathetic thing to do. Like, you don't have anything better to do with your time? Gosh, give me a break. But, the point is here that ChaCha there's nothing wrong with what ChaCha, mentioned. It was a very tame joke, honestly. And, there's nothing wrong with what she said. And I think anyone upset about her making that joke really needs to leave politics for a bit and, like, go meditate in the mountains or something and, like, not become insane. They need to, like, get help. I think these people, more than anything, need to get some help and need to let go of politics a little bit, because their politics is, they're liberal, they're being woke too close to the sun kind of thing. It's destroying their minds, and they're kind of going crazy from it. And I think if they use their minds and like actually think about these things, that are actually going on with ICE and everything, then they'd get the idea, and then they understand that they're being crazy. Now, I'm not angry or upset of any of these people. I think they need help to some degree. But, all of this to basically say that, doing this kind of woke purity test and trying to essentially cancel people that make jokes about things that they disagree with is just, the time of that is just over. We're no longer in that kind of period, and it just doesn't work anymore. And especially, it also doesn't work, especially when the person never bows down to them. That's the thing they rely on, is compliance. But ultimately, they're weak and very powerless. That's why they are trying to use shaming tactics, is because they use these shaming tactics to try to take some power from people. So if anyone's watching this, don't let them in take your power from you. You know, if they try to cancel you for something, because that's what they rely on. They rely on shame. They rely on these kinds of things, and they try to take advantage of your empathy. They are the least empathetic, and they care. They rarely even care about each other. You know, and they will cannibalize each other over their purity tests. I've seen them do it before, and I obviously think that they'll do it again from time to time. You might see it, you may not see it. It's a strange thing. It's an interesting thing to watch. But overall, this is just all I wanted to talk about, and just give a little commentary on this. I hope the next thing we talk about. I hope the next thing I talk about is not going to be involving politics, because I am already tired of that. I don't want any more politics. Anyway, take care, guys.